And then we got this little good album. We got Louise Goffin, which is the daughter of Carole King and the other songwriter. They wrote a lot of songs together. Um, but anyway, really good kind of AOR rock kind of album. Kind of wouldn't expect that. It's got a lot of really good players on it. It's just a really hot rockin' album. Surprisingly so. I mean, seeing the cover, you wouldn't necessarily think that. Maybe you think it was like poppy, but it's definitely more of a rock album in my opinion. But yeah, there's the insert. Pretty cool. And it is a white label promo once again. And I couldn't pass it up for, once again, under $3. I was blown away by all these great, awesome finds. And I get gold stamp. So many gold stamps. Great music is on gold stamp promos, apparently. So, yeah. What else have I got? Got Smokey's Greatest Hits. I've shown this before, so not going to show it again, really. I'm just showing you guys what I got. This is a UK copy. I believe the one I had before was like a Germany pressing. But this is an original UK. And Smokey is a really good kind of like glam rock band from the early 70s. Kind of bluesy, hard rock. Their first album was, and then they kind of got more glam rock. And another band that Chin and Chapman wrote a lot of songs for. Of course, Sweet famously worked with them a lot. This is kind of the band they moved on to after Sweet was like, we're going to write our own songs now. We're not gonna do that anymore. And they went to Smokey and Suzi Quatro and a lot of other stuff like that. So really cool kind of band. And we got Chris Norman, of course. He still does stuff to this day. I don't know if there's still a Smokey band around. I know Chris Norman does some stuff from time to time. And he guest vocals on stuff. But really good singer, really good band. And up next is kind of an oddball kind of album. This is a band called Slaughter, called Bite Back. This is, I believe, like kind of like a punk rock kind of thing from the probably early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, 1980. Kind of like power pop, new wavy, that kind of stuff. And not the Slaughter you think it would be, but still pretty cool. Kind of a hard album to find. It's probably about a $15-$20 album usually. And this is the US version on what's the label it's on? It's on kind of a weird label. It's kind of a label called DJ&M Label Records. DJ&M. But yeah, kind of an interesting find. Never seen it before, so thought I'd take a chance and see what we had with it. Anyway, there you are. Slaughter. Bite Back. We got Angel on Earth as It Is in Heaven. This is, once again, an album I already have, but it does have the original poster. Really good. And also, not that it's anything crazy or anything, but it is a promo copy. It says not for sale promo on the label. Of course, Angel was Kiss's label mates, and they did a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff in like the 80s and in the late 70s. Really awesome, kind of like progressive rock, hard rock, pop rock, glam rock, whatever you want to call it. it's kind of a mix of a bunch of different things. Their first album's definitely more progressive, and they kind of got more pop rock later on, but definitely a really cool band, and one of the kind of secret, great bands of that era that nobody ever talks about. So any chance to talk about Angel is a chance I'm willing to, take up. So love a little Angel. And now we got something a little different, a little bit earlier. Bread. This is something I've never seen before. I'm a huge David Gates and Bread fan. I'm a big fan of the singer-songwriter, early 70s kind of stuff, like Dan Fogelberg and Bread and stuff like that. But, of course, they are known to rock a few times every once in a while, so I also like that. But really good stuff, and this is actually a promo only demonstration copy, not for sale, and it's kind of like an early version of their greatest hits. So just a really cool record, and it is, of course, a promo. And I found this at kind of an odd place. Kind of found it at an antique mall. I was like, I've never seen this before. It's on a white label promo. And I was like, I gotta get it for the Bread stuff, so. Even though it's not like super rare or anything, just a cool thing to find. And it's something that I'll keep in the collection. Just being a big Bread and David Gates fan. And of course, my dad was a big fan, so that is part of it too, so. Nostalgic for me. I listen to it all the time, so I love Bread. So anyway, keeping right along, we got Europe. This is the album Wings of Tomorrow. This is the album. This is the album before their big hit album, I believe. Maybe it's the one after. I can't remember exactly. But yes, on Epic. Not an easy. Not one of their. Not. It's a pretty good, solid album. Highly recommend everybody checking that out. A little more edgy than what you might think. So a pretty cool band. Other than, like, of course, the obvious stuff. All right, up next I got Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent, self-titled debut. I don't care what anybody says about whatever Ted Nugent is on nowadays. I really don't care. But back in 1975, he was putting out an amazing solo album, debut album. Killer, all killer, no filler. This album rocks. I don't care about politics. This thing is killer. And I was just shocked to find a really good, clean copy for, like, nothing, basically. And it's on Epic, of course. Perfect, clean copy. And, of course, Derek St. Holmes on vocals once again. Killing it. One of the best. This is one of the best guitar rock albums from that era. Just front to back. Blows your mind. There's literally mind-blowing stuff on this record. Highly recommend everybody checking this out, of course. You probably know it. I mean, I don't need to say to check it out. You probably got it. But anyway, just thought I'd show that I found a really good clean copy of it, and I share that with you guys. So up next we got Sky Band on RCA. This is kind of a weird one-off kind of band. I would say this is kind of like art rock, pop rock. When I saw this cover, I was like, this is pretty funny, kind of a funny cover. I'm sure they probably were going for a little bit of a funny cover, but a little bit hysterical in my opinion, a little bit goofy, but definitely don't let the cover of the book be the judge of the album. It's pretty decent kind of pop rock. I thought it would be like disco or some, I looked up a little clip of like the single on here. I was like, this is pretty good. You know what? I'll just grab it. So yeah, there you guys are. Sky Band. Kind of an oddball one-off. I wouldn't have grabbed it if I wouldn't have heard the little clip. I just would have passed it off as a kind of crappy disco record or something, but you know, you never know until you listen to it, you know? It's on that kind of Dynaflex, of course, pretty cool. From, what, this is 1975. The perfect era, the greatest era of music. Not really. 1975. I mean, but Kiss was on the top of the world, basically, right? Or 76, probably, was really. But even though it was kind of rock was out at that time, still, there's still some rock stuff from that period that's pretty dang good. I mean, some of the best albums of all time came out around then. You know, like Boston's self-titled album. Thin Lizzy got really big around then. Rush, of course, had a bunch of good albums coming out in the mid-70s. So, you know, that time period had a lot of good stuff. So, what else have we got? We have Rage. This is kind of a, as you would call it, kind of like a hard rock. 80s, a little bit metallic. I want to say they're a British band, or maybe I'm not 100% sure. They're probably British or from some other country somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. But they're on Career Records. Nice and Dirty. Came out in 1983. Recorded in Liverpool. Okay, so they're definitely a UK band. Okay, yeah. So Rage, pretty cool. Of course I didn't do like a whole lot of research. I probably should have. Just showing what I found. Mick Davenport on guitars. Tony Steers, haven't really heard. I haven't actually listened to this yet. I don't know if it's great or not, but I guess we'll try it out one of these days. Just picked this up like a couple of days ago, so just sharing that with you guys. And Shooting Star, this is an excellent kind of AOR-y kind of band. I would kind of describe them a little bit Blue Oyster Cult and a little bit just kind of arena rock. So cross between that, the vocals always remind me a little bit of the Blue Oyster Cult vocals, kind of. Just in a kind of a obscure and weird way. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy. But this is their, what is this? Is this their first album? I think this is their first album on Virgin Records. And they had several albums, but they never quite managed to do anything better than this album, in my opinion. This is probably their best stuff. The vocals are a little bit weak. Again, kind of like a little bit Blue Oyster Cult, but the songs aren't quite as up to snuff as, like, they're not as tight as Blue Oyster Cult, so. But still, pretty cool band, and I really love this cover. This cover reminds me so much of Premonition by Survivor. I don't know if they got it from this, but super cool cover. And yeah, and I can't remember where this band was from. I don't know, they're from New York. Management's from New York. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of New York copyrights, so maybe New York, I don't know. But anyway, Shooting Star, should have probably looked up a little bit more about it, but from what I know about them, pretty good guitar. I would also describe it as kind of pomp rock. Pomp rock as in, like, the later 70s Queen, Trillion, stuff like that. Kind of has a little bit of a progressive leaning. Some Kansas stuff. What's the other one? There's a lot of bands from that late 70s, early 80s that had that kind of sound, and this is another one of those. And pretty interesting band. Not my favorite of all time, but still pretty cool. Next, we have Eddie Money. Eddie Money's debut album. Of course, he just passed away just about a year or two ago, unfortunately. And this has, of course, the big hits: Two Tickets to Paradise, Baby Hold On, Don't Worry. A lot of big hits on this record. And of course, the breakthrough album of Eddie Money. Not my favorite Eddie Money album of all time. This is definitely more of that, I would say, less on the rock side and a little more on, like, again, that kind of West Coast kind of sound. A little bit, a little mix of a lot of things. A little bit jazzy, a little bit, just that kind of easy, a little bit easy. But it has a lot of rockin' moments, and the voice of Eddie Money. Not a great vocalist, but a very charismatic vocalist, in my opinion. So, very cool to add that to the collection. A good copy of that. So, and what else have we got? We got a really nice copy of the City Boy album called Dinner at the Ritz. Dinner at the Ritz. This is one I don't have yet. I believe this is either their second or third album. And again, this is kind of like a very kind of pop rock kind of, they've always been kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of band. Actually pretty dang good stuff. I highly recommend everybody checking out City Boy. A band that's kind of hard to describe, a little bit tubes, a little bit kind of funny, a little British kind of humor, but very cool. I mean, I think they're a really cool band, in my opinion, and one of the underrated bands of the 70s that don't get a lot of credit. And what else? I mean, you could call them, they're kind of a mix of glam rock and, like the Tubes, stuff like that. T-Rex a little bit. That kind of vibe. The kind of self-aware kind of stuff. And of course on Mercury Skyline, once again, always gotta grab. When you see that, always gotta grab it. It has the lyric insert. Like usually with the City Boy stuff, they always have a really nice printed insert. They made a lot of albums, but they were kind of like more of like an underground band. A little bit like Crack the Sky, another band that kind of went under the radar and not a lot of people talk about, but awesome stuff. Highly recommend everybody checking that out. And we are down to the last couple. We got Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. Of course, already had a copy of this. This is just a little bit of an upgrade for me. A little bit cleaner. Not the easiest album to find really clean. So, glad to find a good copy of it. And also this classic. Gotta have this, UFO Lights Out. Anytime I can find a UFO album in really good shape, I always buy it. And this is like one of the finest rock albums ever. So many great tracks. Of course, we got Too Hot to Handle, Lights Out, awesome song. We got the wonderful finale, Love to Love. What a epic track. One of the best epic songs of all time, in my opinion. Awesome, absolutely awesome stuff. Couldn't say enough good things about UFO. Everybody knows UFO. I don't need to say a whole lot about them, but really awesome band. And highly recommend everybody checking that out. So, yeah. I always think, I'm always like, you should check it out, but everybody knows it. Again, Foreigner. Classic, Head Games. Nothing needs to be said about this. One of the best albums ever. One of my favorite bands of all time. Nothing needs to be said about it. Awesome. Lou Gramm on vocals. Mick Jones. killing it on guitar. This is one of their more harder edged albums in my opinion. So a lot of good stuff. We got 17, we got Dirty White Boy, we got Head Games, we got Blinded by Science, which is awesome song. Rev on the Red Line, which is just a great album. And when it came out, it was a little bit maligned as being, I mean, of course, any hard rock band from the 80s got maligned. So, I mean, was this late 70s, 79. But yeah, awesome album, highly recommended. The album before 4, and I think this is one of their strongest albums, even though at the time, or even in a lot of fan rankings, this isn't everybody's favorite. But just the couple of songs that are really good on this stand out a lot to me. And of course, the 4 is classic, and the self-title is really good. And yeah, and Double Vision, of course, is really good. But just something about this album, just the way it rocks, just does it for me every time. And of songs like Do What You Like, it's definitely it's heavy on the Lou Gramm vocals. And the reason why I'm not as big a fan of Double Vision as a lot of other people is there's so many Mick Jones songs that it's not that I don't like, his voice is just not where Lou Gramm's voice is. And the songs that are on that album that he does aren't as strong as the songs from the first album. So that gives me this one as a little bit better. In my opinion, sorry guys, I like the first one, I like this one, I like the fourth one. Double Vision is a really good album, but not my favorite out of all their albums. This is up there. This is maybe 2 out of my favorite, 2 or 3 out of my favorite albums by Foreigner. Anyway, unpopular opinion, but probably. But anyway, we're getting down to the last 2. We got Arrogance with the album Suddenly. And this is a premier kind of like supergroup, kind of AOR hard rock band that you just don't hear a lot about. Really good hard rock and AOR stuff. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Airborne a little bit. Not the new Airborne, but the old Airborne from 1979. It's kind of that kind of style. Pretty good hard rocking stuff. Really good. It's on a major label. It's on Warner Brothers. If you haven't heard it, I highly recommend everybody checking this out. It's pretty hot, pretty rocking. Not a lot of sleepy moments on this album. Who produced this album? Unfortunately, I have no idea who produced this, but anyway, awesome album. Highly recommend everybody checking it out. And one that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. I've never heard of it. I looked it up the first time, and I was like, this is good, I gotta buy it. So anyway, last but not least, rounding it off with a 50-minute video. I don't know why it had to be 50 minutes, but it happened. But anyway, we got this beautiful Uriah Heep and the Shrink. Look at Yourself. The final album I needed by Uriah Heep in really good condition. I have everything else. And now I'm probably going to do a kind of like a career retrospective on Uriah Heep because they're my favorite band of all time. As some of you might know, because just about every video I show something Uriah Heep. So favorite band, pretty much favorite band of all time. And favorite vocalist of all time, David Byron. And yeah, so I'll probably do like a kind of career retrospective and talk about all the solo albums related to them. And probably be another 50-minute video, but this is probably my longest vinyl update of all time for some reason. It was a lot of stuff to show, but thank you guys for getting through it with me, and hope you guys saw something you liked. Hope I didn't blabber on a little bit too much in today's video. And anyway, until next time, hope you guys have a good week, good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys real soon, hopefully. I have some plans for some album reviews and stuff coming up, maybe. and maybe some new CD updates. We'll see what happens, and talk to you guys later. Bye.